Here we have a new 7260 series shaft for Gilbert Gray, his 65 Coronet. So Gilbert had this car running and going, but a drive shaft that he had for it was short, and it was just giving him problems. Like that wheel, it was like almost 2 inches fully too short. He brought me up a selection of pieces. I've actually went down and measured up the car. I believe this is 904 transmission based on that slip yoke that he gave me to run with this shaft here. That was a good looking, newish looking actually, maybe new old stock. I don't know what the story is with that slip yoke. It did have 1 year that was knocked out of whack, so I put the gauge block in it and a spreader tool in it and got it back so the clips fit right. So it's DT 351 6040 weld jokes, Spicer tubing, a pair of 789 7260 series Spicer snap tights, which sometimes it's difficult to find something good to say about 7260 series U-joints. They never were that great, but you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So let's just say that the snap tight design is a huge improvement on the drivability or balanceability of these shafts, because the old greasable style ones, especially these, were always loosey-goosey and they're not fun to balance. And component pieces can have their quirks. They don't necessarily just automatically fall together and play well with each other. And this is an example of that. That slip yoke was actually pretty good, but when I just randomly had to assign it to one end or the other, and I had it on that end to begin with, and you think I could get that thing to run the way I want them to run? It just would not do it. So I took it off, spun the drive shaft around, indexed at 180, and indexed the slip yoke to the shaft 180, and it's beautiful now. There's no real reason why everything's expected. You know, I do my due diligence with these things, but some days they just don't want to play well with each other until you make them, and I did. I like things to work correctly, or it's not going out of here. So now I'm satisfied with it, and we'll crank her up. So that's about 2,800 RPM. 0 at the transmission, 0 at the rear axle. So we're going to call this a home run for Gilbert's Coronet, and its drivability is just going to have to be light years better than it was. We're going to look at this artifact here. So this is the drive shaft that he was running in at, and it's got my stencil on there, and that's from the mid-80s. So that's how I started out. I didn't have stickers. I had a stencil, and I hand cut those. I still got a series of them, but that, I know what that's for. That's for a Dodge van at 4-inch tubing, 7260 for those old 14-passenger Dodge vans that everybody used at the Navy Yard. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of drive shaft geek trivia there, and blast from the past, whatever. So we're going to get that painted up for Gilbert and get it back to him.